What's up, man? SB here for the Marduk report, and we are finally back from CES 2019. Right off the bat, I'm going to have to say, please excuse how I sound. I've caught some form of CES bug that I am not too fond of, but if you hear me coughing or if I just sound weird in general, know that's why. So, on to the things, because that's why we are all here. Not just me, not just you, but all of us. And first up is Adata. They also have some experimental / prototype products that they haven't really decided on exactly when they will come to market or what their price or specs will be. But what they have brought, it is definitely RGB, all the things. So first up is the new Spectrix RGB module. This is a prototype that Adata has brought to CES, and what's really interesting about this is that the RGB is going to be throughout the entire heat spreader. So what I've been told is that the RGB modules themselves are actually in the center of the heat spreader behind that silver bit, and so they can illuminate the entirety of the RAM DIMM module, which I think is super cool. There's no pricing or release date on this or even specs, as this is just a prototype for what the RGB module can do. They are hoping that this will hit 5,000 megahertz, so 5 gigahertz in speed, but that is not official. Next up is the GameX D30 memory modules. The GameX D30s do feature XMP 2.0 and will be overclockable up to 4600 megahertz. These are not RGB, but the color combinations of white, black, gray, and red I think are actually pretty nice. Next up is the XPG EMIX H20 gaming headset. That's a lot of words, but as you can see, it is RGB. I know the shot's kind of dark, but these are going to be a budget headset for gamers. They have 50mm drivers and 7.1 virtual surround sound. No price was given to me, but I would expect that these should hover around $50 to $75. I'd be highly surprised if they were over $75, or even actually at $75. That's still, I feel like, a lot for what these were. So next up is the XPG EMIX H30 headset. Now these are going to be a step up from the previous ones. As you can see, they've got an aluminum frame that is auto adjusting. The microphone is actually removable, and they have 53mm drivers, and again 7.1 virtual surround sound, which, I mean, like, it's not a massive selling point, but it is nice to have in certain situations. What I am also really interested in is this stand. This stand does not come with the headset, which is unfortunate. So this is the Solo F30 amplifier. Now you don't actually need to use it with the EMIX H30s. Use it with any headphones that you want, because it does have 3.5mm jack on the side for both your headset and the microphone. So after that were the XPG K10 and K20 keyboards, along with the M.2 mouse. So starting with the keyboards, they look actually pretty much identical. Your main differentiators between the K10 and the K20 are going to be the amount of lighting modes they have. The K10 has 9 different lighting modes, while the K20 has 11 different lighting modes, and the big difference is the switch. The K10 is going to be a membrane, while the K20 has mechanical blues in it. Not very office friendly, but they will feel awesome when you type. Hi, Future SP here. I just wanted to clarify that anytime that I said megabit per second, I meant to say megabyte per second in terms of the drive speeds. So that's for the M.2, the state of drives, and all that. Just blame it on me, sick. And no trip to an Adata suite would be complete without seeing some SSDs. These are the SU750 and the SU630, which have pretty good speeds, actually. They're going to be pretty close to the top end of the SATA 3 spec for their speeds for the read-write, and their IOPS are actually not too bad. Now down here is actually what I was really a little more interested in that these were two Type C external SSD. The speed on them up to 1000 megabits per second, so pretty decent write speeds, read and write speeds. But what I think was interesting is because it's so small, this is going to be a great contender for either carrying around your bag or And lastly, in terms of drives, of course, it would not be CES or even 2019 without an RGB hard drive. So this will be a USB 3.1 drive. No word on availability, pricing, or even capacity, but I would expect that this would go up to probably about 2 terabytes pretty easily. And the star of the show, at least in terms of SSD drives at the Adata suite, is the new XPG Spectrix RGB M.2 SSD, because we have not fully hit peak RGB. But with this, I think we are at least one step closer. So this is again a prototype M.2 SSD, so it will be PCIe. No word on specs or pricing or release date, as this is just a prototype. In terms of the other SSDs that Adata brought with them, they brought their entire line of M.2s, all PCIe, starting with the SX 6000, which is going to be your entry level M.2 with pretty good read-write speeds. So we're talking with speeds of 1800 to and 1200 megabits a second, that is respective for read and write, and that's your entry level. That's going to have capacity starting at 128 and going up to 1 terabyte. Above that is going to be the GameX S5, and that's going to have read and write speeds of 2100 and 1500 megabits a second. And this one is going to be a little bit of a step up, so your capacities are going to be a little more limited, starting at 256 and going up to 1 terabyte. So after that, we're getting into really the enthusiast kind of class. This is the SX 8200 Pro. So this is the replacement for the SX 8200. And this is going to be hitting peak speeds of 3500 and 3000 megabits a second on PCIe Gen 3x4. Again, like the previous drive, your capacities are going to be from 256 to 1 terabyte. And sitting at the top of the stack is the GameX S11 Pro, which is going to be again PCIe Gen 3x4 with same read-write speeds as below, 3500/3000 read-write respectively. This SSD is actually to come with the heatsink to keep it a bit cooler, so take note of that. So that's all the products that Adata brought to CES and had on display at their suite. What do you guys think of the products that they had? Were the SSDs cool? What caught your interest? Was it the RAM? Was it the RGB M.2? Because I'm sure that's what it probably is, because it's 2019 now, and it is RGB all the things. But what do y'all think? Let me know down below, and stick around for more CES wrap-up review coverage, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Peace.